Already attributes of data frame we have done. Now the next topic is importing and exporting data between CSV files and data frames. We can create a data frame by importing data from CSV files where values are separated by commas. Similarly, we can also store or export data in a data frame as a .csv file. So this is very easy because comma separated value, it takes very less space and you can send the file very easily, share the file very easily. Now next is importing a CSV file to a data frame. Let us assume that we have the following data in a CSV file named resultdata.csv stored in the folder c:/NCRT. Now this folder is the path. In order to practice the code while we progress, you are suggested to create this CSV file using a spreadsheet and save in your computer. Okay? We can permanently save the CSV file in Excel, in Notepad. We can share our file from Notepad, from Excel. It is very easy to access in spreadsheets, especially all the calculations can be done. You will see one by one now. Now this is the table. We can load the data from the result data.csv file into a data frame. Say marks using pandas read underscore csv function as shown below. Now we will start using these functions. So first we will use a read from csv file. So read underscore csv and we will store it in data frame. So here marks you have created pd dot read underscore csv. Now the path of the file you have mentioned where the file is saved. In previous class what we have done, we have saved directly there only in the software, so we haven't mentioned the path. But if it is somewhere else, you have to mention this complete path. Now separator, how you want to use the separator, header. So these by default it is comma, so we were not using the separator. While storing in a notepad, if you want to change the separator from comma to @ or something else, then here you can mention. Like comma it is written, now the output will be in form of comma only. But if you mention here @ then the output you can see in the form of @. That is the separator between the two data will be @. Whatever you will mention here. So here you can see marks. This is your table. The first parameter to the read underscore csv is the name of the comma separated data file along with its path. So this is the name of your CSV file. If they ask you that what is the name of the CSV file, you will write result data. Clear? .csv, this is the name of the CSV file. What is the path of the CSV file? This is the complete path of the CSV file. So in 1 mark question, if they give you this question and ask you what is the name of the CSV file, you will mention resultdata.csv, and which is the separator. If they ask you, you will write here comma, since comma is here. If @ is here or hash is here, whatever will be here, you have to mention that. If nothing is there, suppose separator is not mentioned here, then by default it is comma, so you will write comma. Clear? And this is your path. Now next is the parameter specifies whether the values are separated by comma, semicolon, tab or any other character. You can put any character. The default value for space is space. So space. Okay, output when it is showing like this, here it is space, but when, since you are reading from CSV file, but when you are storing, that time you can see by default it will be comma. Next, the parameter header specifies the number of the row whose values are to be used as the column names. It also marks the start of the data to be fetched. Header 0 implies that column names are inferred from the first line of the file. If you don't want to start from the beginning, then you can change the header. By default it is header equals to 0. So whenever we are simply without header, if you are writing it, read CSV, you are using it, then the whole data is brought in this data frame. Clear? From CSV file to data frame we are doing now. So if you don't want the first one, you can change the header and you can select from where you want to save in the data frame. We can exclusively specify column names using the parameter names while creating the data frame using the read CSV function. For example, in the following statement, names parameter is used to specify the labels for columns of the data frame marks 1. So here you can see marks 1. In this pd.read CSV, the path you have given separated is comma. Now you can see the column names they have mentioned here. If you want to give the column names, your own column names, then you can mention names you have to use equals to and then the column name. So when it will show the output, you can see here the column names is just now with names you have given here. Clear? So this you have to remember, using names in read underscore CSV, you can change the column names. Now the vice versa of this, that is exporting a data frame to a CSV file. Now we will export a data frame to a CSV file. We can use the toCSV function. Now this is 1 mark question. Which function is used to export a data frame to a CSV file? toCSV function is used to, good morning, to save a data frame to a text or CSV file. For example, to save the data frame result df created in the previous section, we can use the following statement. So here you can display this using result df. Now next is a comma separated value CSV file is a text file where values are separated by comma. Each line represents a record row. Each row consists of one or more fields, columns. They can be easily handled through a spreadsheet application. So now we will see how to do all the operations in a spreadsheet as well as here you in data frame or in Python. Now here this is your table, so you can create the table using toCSV. You can store it in a CSV file. If you want, you can mention the path. Now here you can see till now we haven't used this. Directly we were storing. Now if you are asked to store in a given path, that here only in hard disk, in floppy, in pen drive, here this is the path where you have to store, then like this you will mention the path. Yes, so if in 1 mark question you will be asked to give the path, so you will give the path and store it. Till now we were writing only the name of the CSV file and it was storing in that. This creates a file by the name resultout.csv in the folder c:/NCRT on the hard disk. When we open this file in any text editor or a spreadsheet, we can find the above data along with the row labels and the column headers separated by comma. I will show you just now a CSV file I will create, and in Word, in Notepad, everywhere I will open and I will show you how it looks like. In case we do not want the column names to be saved to a file, we may use the parameter header equals to false. If you don't want the column names, then this header equals to false you have to give. Another parameter index equals to false is used when we do not want the row labels to be written to the file or disk. Actually what happens, a table will be given to you, and that table when you will store in Excel, what happens, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 index labels it will give. So sometimes that is not required. Most of the time it is not required. Practical project when you will do, that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is not required. The student table is given, the airways flight table is given. So what you will do, you will write index equals to false, because we don't want that 0, 1, 2, 3, that Index labels we don't want. Now example they have given here, result df to underscore csv. So you are storing in a csv file. Path of the file you have given. Now here normally we are writing csv to store it, because text also you can write it, but csv what happens, comma separated, it is very easy to access, because afterwards you will use read csv to access that file and do all the operations. So we will write here, practically we will, when we will do, we will write csv only. Separator, whichever separator you want to give, like notepad, if you are asked to save, then txt is correct. Now header false, index false, no heading, no index is given, only the data is displayed, because when you will do the calculation, that time the header and the index will create problem. Clear? So that time we don't require this. So we will start with this read csv to csv, already we have done, but the projects one by one, from today we will start all the projects, that is bank, railways, airways, hospital, all the different, means 20-30 projects we have to practice. So that we will do using this, and menu driven is compulsory, so menu driven we will use, and to csv read csv is compulsory, and all the data frame operations, that is chapter 3, all the statistical to find the maximum, sum, count, minimum, mean, that is average. So all those we will do one by one. Now the last topic of this chapter is Pandas series versus NumPy. Already you have done it. Once let us revise. Pandas support non-unique index values. This you will note down and copy. The difference is coming in exam, so you will prepare it nicely. Now Pandas support non-unique index values. If an operation that does not support duplicate index values is attempted, an exception will be raised at that time. Exception means error message you will be shown, so error will be raised. A basic difference between series and ND array is that operations between series automatically align the data based on the label. Thus, we can write computations without considering whether all series involved have the same label or not. The result of an operation between unaligned series, that is, where the corresponding labels of the series are not the same or are not in the same order, will have the union of the indexes involved. If a label is not found in one series or the other, the result will be marked as missing nan. Nan is not a number, empty, null. Being able to write code without doing any explicit data alignments grants immense freedom and the flexibility in interactive data analysis and research. Now these differences which you have to note down in your copy, it is very easy. In series, we can define our own labeled index to access elements of an element. These can be numbers or letters. So you have already created series where you can give your own index. NumPy array are accessed by their integer position using numbers only. So NumPy arrays was like list where the index was 0, 1, 2, 3 by default, and that only you can use. So always it is a number and you can use those numbers only. Here you can give your own letters, alphabets, string, anything you can give. The elements can be indexed in decreasing order also. The indexing starts with 0 for the first element and index is fixed. So here always in NumPy 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 it is fixed. It cannot be in decreasing order, and here it can be any number. It can start with any number. It can be in decreasing order also. Third, if two series are not aligned, nan or missing values are generated. There is no concept of nan values, and if there are no matching values in arrays, alignment fails. So here what happens in series, in pandas, only nan is used to fill the missing values, which is not in NumPy. So if you are doing any matching and if nan values are there, empty values, null values are there, you cannot check it, so it will fail in NumPy. Next, series require more memory. NumPy occupies less memory. So here NumPy occupies less memory. NumPy is faster to process. So whenever the huge amount of numerical data you have to process, we will use NumPy. Whereas any real life model you have to design, you will use series. So these are the differences. Go through the summary portion. Normally 1 mark question or the explanation, it is very easy if you prepare from this summary portion. All are given, the complete book in short it is given. Now exercise, you all know this, you do it, solve it. What is a series, how it is different from a 1D array, a list and a dictionary. Just make the notes, share in Google Classroom, and if you have any doubt, mention that. I will explain or I will give you those answers. Clear? So one by one we will do. It is just a practice. Answers are easy. Hardly one period we will take, or one day we will solve also all the questions. Now let us start with chapter 3. If any question, particular question you want to solve, you can solve it just now, and then we will start with chapter 3.